Hi everyone, I'm a cancer surgeon from India, and today's talk isn't about cancer or surgery, it's about a different kind of a kind of healing that happens when we stop fighting our biology and start syncing with it. There was a time where I was meditating underwater in cold Atlantic Ocean, 12 degrees, and I wasn't chasing discomfort, I was chasing clarity. And we live in a world where technology is speeding up, but our bodies are burning out. And today I want to show you how I became my own biohacking 4.0 version by syncing with earth, water, air, and fire, and how you can do it too. And this is a 360 blueprint which I apply to all my medicine 3.0 patients. You can apply this to cancer, to inflammation, to gut health, and even for your health optimization journey. So this, what I'm going to present to you, isn't just science. This is personal. From surgical suites to scuba dives, I've tracked what actually works and build a system to live longer, think clearer, and feel more alive. Because what if the real upgrade isn't in AI or the latest molecule? It's in your ability to flow, to sync with your breath, to your gut health, and your HRV. Let's begin. This is a 360 blueprint. I present to you today 21 powerful strategies to optimize your health span, flow, and human potential. Let's crack your biology and unlock the art of impossible within you. Before we begin, what is health? For most people, health is very disease-centric. If they don't have a disease, they are healthy. But true health is where you don't just survive, you thrive, you perform, you evolve, and you flow. And that's where biohacking comes into place. Biohacking isn't something fancy, not just for astronauts or elite athletes. It might be impossible for some people, but impossible is just a state of the mind. And there is an actual formula for achieving it. And biohacking gives you that roadmap, not just to fight disease, but to master your biology and rebuild it and unlock the art of impossible within you. Biohacking is also not about adding superpowers. It's about rediscovering the superpowers which is already there inside of you, hidden inside of you. It starts with a shift in perception of what your body is truly capable of. Today, I invite you to see as your not just one body, but your earth, water, air, fire combined. And when you align these four forces inside you, you don't just survive, you unlock your true human potential. So here is the 4-body blueprint. I'll come to the 5th frequency in the end. The first is your physical or the earth body, because once we die, we go back to our earth. Second is your water or your emotional body, because water and emotions both flow within us and outside of us. Third is your mental or air body, because we need to biohack our mental body. And the fourth is, of course, the spiritual and the fire body. At the onset, let me tell you this is a scientific framework, not a spiritual one. And I give you 5 powerful strategies, biohacks. Most of you must be knowing some bits of it, but I'm sure you're going to take back something today with you. Let's begin. The first one for your physical or the earth body is cellular hydration. When you talk about hydration, always put the word cellular before it, because water fuels every cell. And do you know that cellular hydration devices are going to come up very soon? And just a 2% drop in your cellular hydration and affects your physical and mental performance by up to 20% without you knowing it. The second biohack for your physical or the earth body is your gut. And it's your gut microbiome diversity that counts. True gut health is where you eat fiber, eat colors, and grow your inner rainforest. Because true gut health is diversity. True gut health is like your inner rainforest. We need to be more diverse with our good gut bacteria. Number 3 is your VO₂ Max. And VO₂ Max, we all know, is the most powerful predictor for longevity. It even outsmarts your risk of smoking, chronic diabetes, and other diseases combined. So move daily, live longer, track your VO₂ Max and increase it. And you can increase this number at any age possible. Number 4 is your muscle strength or your grip strength. So strength equals to survival. Train muscles and train them for life. Do you know that after 40, if you're not training your muscle, every year your muscle mass is decreasing by 1% and after 50 by 2%. So if you're not doing muscle training yet, please start. And number 5 is sleep, because deep sleep isn't just rest, it is biological magic. Healing in your brain, repairing your body, and it adds years to your life. I personally guard my sleep more than I guard my money. And do you know, just a one night of sleep deprived state, you can do HbA1c, next morning glycosylated hemoglobin, and you become just one sleep deprived state, you get to almost a pre-diabetic level. So the next day, you're almost as insulin resistant as a pre-diabetic. So please start sleeping, not just 8 hours. It's about sleep architecture. The quality of the sleep also matters, and 8 hours is non-negotiable. So once your physical body is strong and fueled, the next mastery is over your emotions, because your water doesn't just flow outside of you, it flows inside too. So I present to you the sixth point for your, and this is the first for your water or your emotional body. And this is the most important and one of the root causes of all diseases life exists. And that is the balance between the blue mind and the red mind. The blue mind is the calm, rest and digest, parasympathetic nervous system. And the red mind is the sympathetic nervous system, stress or the fight and flight. And what is exactly the blue mind? So your nervous system only has two modes. The red for fight and flight, freeze, your body is in emergency mode. And the blue is for healing, rest, repair, recovery. I believe that true longevity is bent towards blue mind. So true healing, true longevity, true creativity happens in a parasympathetic or a blue mind dominant state. You can also call your red mind as your thinking brain and blue mind as your being brain. Every disease begins with either or state. And the red mind is the survival state. We were designed for this fight and flight response. When we talk about longevity, we take back to our hunter-gatherer approach. When we were in jungles, if a lion was next to you, we would run as fast as possible to save ourselves. But that is the true fight and flight. But today, what is happening? Everybody is living in a chronic red mind or a chronic sympathetic drive. And cancer, inflammation, all disease begins with one of these. This is a number one root cause, chronic sympathetic drive. And when your sympathetic is overdrive, every defense mechanism your body activates gets blunted. Your cortisol increases, stress hormones flood your bloodstream, your breath becomes shallow. And a lion and email, your brain gives the same response. So the modern trap, which is because as soon as we wake up in the morning, we either wake up for alarm clock, we see our phones, notification, ping, ping, ping. So that takes you to immediately in your task-based network and your red mind gets activated. That leads to chronic inflammation, gut dysfunction, and poor recovery. We are stuck in survival without danger. So I always say that we should get into our red mind about things which we can control in the now, not in the past and not in the future. Don't turn your thinking mind on. And the blue mind is the healing mind. I already said the parasympathetic state where your body switches into your defense mode and full restoration. A cancer cell happens, but there are anti-oncogenes and anti-cancer genes to repair ourselves if we let our body repair. And the vagal nerve is a dual highway. It connects to your brain and your gut. And it's not just one way, it's a dual way connection. So when we activate the parasympathetic, our heart rate comes down and our vagal nerve is turned on. And there are so many gadgets and biohacking, but one of the other ways is breath work. I always believe that water is the fastest switch because there is also something called as the underwater mammalian dive reflex, which automatically involuntarily activates your parasympathetic nervous system. And it is instant calming effect, no practice needing. You can just see water. That's what blue mind is. The real definition of blue mind is the calm, composed parasympathetic state where we feel that everything is going well. And it happens naturally when we are around water, near water, seeing water or underwater. Water changes everything when you cannot believe. And that's the power of thought. Number 7, the point for your water emotional body is the HRV mastery. And here comes our favorite ice plunges, because ice plunges trigger resilience. And many of these pointers overlap with each other because ice plunges trains your resilience, and it is a measurable marker, HRV. You can measure it through your gadgets. For those who don't know still what HRV is, HRV stands for heart rate variability. It's the measure of variation in your heartbeats, and it reflects how well your autonomic nervous system is functioning or how well you're balanced between the blue mind and the red mind. The higher HRV predicts good survival for all diseases. And I've tracked my HRV during ice baths, during underwater meditation, during brain tap and various devices. The higher it is, the better it is. Number 8 is breath work. It resets your brain. Slow exhale, slow chaos. I also breathe and meditate underwater. And there is how the underwater meditation, which is a unique bottom up approach. Most meditations is a top down approach. We do breathing, we do chanting, we do guided meditation, we do binaural beats. So our brain leads and our body follows into the calm parasympathetic state. Ice baths are also one example, but even only for trained people who are already trained in it. But underwater is for everyone a bottom up approach, a unique approach to get to that same calm parasympathetic state. And it happens naturally. So breath slows down in water, and the submersion triggers the mammalian dive reflex and brings your heart rate down. Even the ice baths to an extent does, but for new beginners, as soon as you jump into the water, the cold shock raises your heart rate. The true benefit of ice baths also you get once your heart rate starts going down. And inside the water, some scuba divers come to me and say that I'm also a scuba diver, but some scuba divers come to me and say, I know what you're trying to say. But under the water, if you go looking for something like scuba diving, then again you go into the task-based network. The real magic underwater in the silence and in the submersion with water all around us is when you remain in your default mode network. It is a scientific phenomena, the bottom-up approach, and it is truly unique. It activates the vagal activation. It also helps with CO2 tolerance. We'll come to the CO2 tolerance in a bit. Number 9 is gratitude. Daily journaling. Many of you are already doing it, I know that. But daily gratitude journaling literally rewires your nervous system and rewires your nervous connections. This has been proven. So keep doing it, and the magic lies in consistency. Number 10 is nature therapy. Forest Shinzen-ku, that's a word in Japanese. When you step outside, nature resets the emotional turbulence better than any medicine. And grounding also comes into this place because we were actually built to stay outdoors 97, 98% of the times because we were hunter-gatherers. But today, first of all, we wear shoes. And second of all, we remain 85% of the times indoors. In nature is my biggest teacher. As a doctor, as a surgeon, I say that out loud, that whatever I am, this whole blueprint is being designed through nature. I've just the channel which has created this. In nature, Tauropsis dorani, the immortal jellyfish, reminds us that biological aging is not just an unbreakable law. Through cellular reprogramming, it resets life, hinting that true longevity isn't just about survival, but renewal. And when your emotions settle like a still lake, the mind clears, and that's when we begin shaping our air body or our thoughts and focus and imagination. Today, I don't give you any gadgets. I give you free biohacks, and this is a 360 blueprint. You can start wherever you are and for all. And you will slowly ask me, how can I do all these 21 points? But it automatically gets embodied within you. The number one for the air or the mental body is NSDR. The name suggests non-sleep deep rest. It's your brain reset button. Meditate daily, and that's what it is. Just a 20-minute NSDR sessions makes you recover and get the benefits or equal to a 90-minute sleep. That's the power of it. So if you are sleep deprived, if you are traveling, do a 20-minute Andrew Huberman YouTube video on NSDR and you will see it. And in our Indian tradition, the yoga nidra is exactly the same. This is just a scientific method. With NSDR, you access your alpha state practices. Number 12, neuroplasticity. The whole education system was built on this fact that after 25, we become less neuroplastic, or our brains are not neuroplastic. But science has changed that completely. Your brains are neuroplastic till your last death. Learning new skills builds new neural connections, and this is the ultimate anti-aging tool to your brain. So learn new things. I'm learning Spanish with no agenda, 5 to 10 minutes. Keep learning. That is the real neuroplasticity. Number 13 or third for the air body is read books. Books are like mental weight. Live them daily to build sharper, stronger brain for life. And just a 10-minute reading a book not related to your main topic reduces cortisol by up to 70%, more than drinking a cup of green tea, even listening to music, or even just going for a short walk. So read every day. Number 14, most of us are aware about this. CO2 tolerance. What is this word? It's equal to your focus power. Breathe slow and think more. What is CO2 tolerance? CO2 tolerance depends on how well your body and brain can tolerate the rising levels of CO2 in your blood before the feeling of discomfort, breathlessness, and panic comes. It's your brain's and body's relationship with CO2 and not oxygen. So low CO2 tolerance equals to quick breathlessness, anxiety, and poor focus. And high CO2 tolerance equals to calm under pressure, sharper thinking, and better stamina. Try this at home. Take a photo of this slide. After a normal exhale, hold your breath and time it. 30 to 40 seconds means low CO2 tolerance. 40 to 60 seconds is moderate CO2 tolerance, and more than 60 seconds is high CO2 tolerance. Slowing down your breath is to speed up your mind. Training CO2 tolerance is the secret weapon which nobody is talking to about for mental longevity. I'm also training to be a free diver, and that's where you train your CO2 tolerance. And even Wim Hof breathing, Wim Hof methods help you train your CO2 tolerance. Number 15, or fifth point for your air body, is digital reset. Disconnect daily and reset your neural networks for creativity. And this is really essential. Why? Because if you don't do this, you are constantly bombarded by notifications. My phone is constantly on do not disturb, and I go to my WhatsApp being a doctor and answer rather than letting the phone control me. If you're still not doing it, do it. Once your body is sharp and calm, the final ignition happens in the fire body, where purpose, spirit, and inner energy comes alive. And that is number 16. That's his purpose. Purpose fuels longevity. That is your ikigai. Find your why, extend your life. If you have a sense of purpose, like my life's purpose is to flow, to go with the flow, not just as a philosophy, but even as a life theme, and making people be in more blue mind, because I already said that true longevity happens in your predominantly the blue mind or the parasympathetic dominant state. That's my purpose. What's yours? Because if you have your purpose, you extend your lifespan and even health span by 7 years. Find your why, extend your life. Number 7, fasting clears your emotional and mental clutter and sharpens your inner fire. And we all know that in all religious tradition there is fasting, and just a 24 hours fasting triggers cellular autophagy by up to 300%. So keep doing the fasting. And intermittent fasting is a trend, but listen to your body, because not everybody is same. Everyone is different. Number 18 is sunlight. We all know the importance of synchronizing your circadian rhythm, and it also synchronizes your spiritual rhythm. So honor the light, and first couple of hours in the day, ideally go outdoors, get the sunlight. Last, even sunset. We sometimes go for sunlight in the sunrise in the morning, but sunset, most people are still in their offices. Try to go near a window or outdoors and access your sunlight, even in the evening, because that's a game changer. It doesn't just resets your circadian rhythm, it even resets your metabolic rhythm. Honor the light. Number 19 is the heart-brain coherence, or the heart math. It's a scientific evidence of spirituality, and I do very unique things because I'm connected to nature, like the tree heart meditation. So you go to a tree, put your hand on the tree and one hand on your heart, and just breathe slowly. There is no rocket science in things. We humans, we claim and we thrive for complex things. Answer lies in simplicity, and the answer to heart-brain coherence is one beautiful technique which I have devised is tree heart meditation. Go to any tree and do this. Just breathe, and after some time you will sync with the Schumann resonance, which is closer to the alpha waves, and then the magic begins and you become coherent. Number 20 is my favorite, and that is flow states. And flow states are sacred. You need to train them like muscles to maximize efficiency. And if you're not training that, if you don't know about flow states is a state of your mind where we optimize ourselves. Our productivity reaches up to 500% because dopamine, our motivation chemical, oxytocin, our connection chemical, serotonin, our happiness hormone, endorphins, our natural painkillers, and norepinephrine, and even anandamide, these 6 neurochemicals. So flow states is a neurochemical cocktail, and we all do this, our micro flow, macro flow states, but we do it very less. So there is a flow cycle which I would like to take you all through this. I'm a cancer surgeon, a laparoscopic surgeon, and let's parallelly take an example of a surfer. So the first phase is struggle. For surgery, for cancer surgery, I have to go through the intense training struggle phase. For a surfer to learn, he has to go through the training phase. For a pianist, he needs to go through the struggle, the learning phase. And then for a surgeon, sometimes in cancer surgery there is a complicated case, and I'm like just stuck somewhere then what to do. And same with a surfer. He's a novice surfer. He knows the basic technique. He knows how to climb the surfboard. But a big wave comes, a wave which he has never ever driven in life. And suddenly there is a moment which you have to let go, and that is the moment of release. You just climb on the surfboard. You just let go while doing surgery. And then you're guided by your intuition, by your inner state. And that is when you enter flow state. And once you are into flow state, if you're not encountering any flow breakers, or you can keep triggering it by entering more of your micro and macro flow states, and then you can extend it through your day. So I have been for the last 3 years targeting my flow state for every single day of my life. And going outdoors is optimal flow is one of the best way. Like optical flow, when you go outdoors in the morning, the optical flow by walking or running in a nature place, you get into flow. You can get into flow by singing, you can get into flow by surgery. So here I would say that I measure my flow states with my VO₂. VO₂ has a cortisol monitor 0 to 3. And while performing surgeries, I have gone down, I have all the data which you can track it, that my stress levels goes down to 0.3, 0.4. This is almost like when it as low as when you are in deep sleep. Why? Because I am in flow. Even during intense activities, I am in flow. But the missing link of current life, which I was also doing 3-4 years before, is recovery, recovery, recovery. And that's where the magic of sleep and all the supplements, nervous system regulation comes into place. So here I will also introduce you one unique concept, the purple mind. So I told you the nervous system has 2 colors, the blue and the red. But true life is lived in a shade of purple, because obviously neither your blue mind is completely on all the time, neither your red mind. We are always in the mix of some sympathetic activation and some parasympathetic activation. Life is actually lived in the mix, and purple mind is for performance. So for example, when I go for my runs, I'm also a runner and I run as an athlete, and we get into the zone, right? So some of my runs, I have to put in a lot of sympathetic drive, lot of effort, and that is maybe 80% red mind and 20% blue mind. But most of my runs are effortless when I'm in the zone. And I even have consciously measured it mentally, and I feel that it's only 20% red mind and 80% blue mind. That's the shade of purple which you want to be in. The dynamic blend of both focuses the energy and with calm precision. And as I already told you, we should either enter into a red mind consciously about things which we can do something in the now. And once we go back, once we cannot do anything about some things, for example, war. If I'm into military, then I should definitely get into my blueprint, into my red mind, and do some strategies to undo it. But if I'm outdoors, if I'm not related to war or military, then I should slightly switch into my blue mind. Traffic is another example. There is no point entering into the red mind, where many people in India and across the globe, many people enter into their red mind. So stay in your purple zone. The flow state is that sweet spot, the calm plus the intensity. Neither fully red nor fully blue. But ideal flow is most likely the bluish purple state. So as close to the blue as possible. But obviously to do things, you need to activate some of your thinking brain or the red mind too. And it feels like effortless. And even time passes strangely in flow state. You do 20-minute activity and sometimes you feel that hours have passed. And sometimes even the reverse happens. That is the magic of flow. And that is why flow teaches us that what is the real currency of life. We say that the real currency of any average person will say the real currency of life is money. But then we think about it, it's really not money. Is it time? But now after experiencing flow state on every single day, even time is not linear. So what is the real currency? The real currency is your attention. And you should only enter your blue mind with attention and red mind also with attention consciously, and then slide into your blue mind as much as possible. Even CO2 tolerance, training your breath, we already discussed, expands your ability to stay in flow even under stress. And flow is dynamic, it's not fixed. Flow is not just a switch you flip, it's your state of the body when body enters when the conditions are right. And there are some flow triggers and there are some flow breakers. And if you're conscious about it, you have entered into this micro flow moments when you're playing with your child, when you're singing, when you're playing a piano or something like that. So try and give more attention to it, and slowly you can turn your micro flow activities into macro flow, and that changes everything. And flow is not forced, I always say, it is entered consciously. So here, that was the 20 framework, the biohacking framework. And once your four bodies, the earth, water, air, fire, and you're doing all these 20 pointers. And as a patient of any disease, including cancer, and even as a health optimization, you automatically start to embody these 20 points. And then you unlock the fifth frequency, I say, or the quantum coherence. There are so many devices which you can help you to become into the quantum coherence. Why quantum coherence? Because I feel that is the fifth hidden body where biology, consciousness, and energy meet. Enzyme tunneling, photosynthesis, even bird navigation. I'm also a bird watcher, and I was very curious, how do birds migrate? And they are guided by a compass in their brains. The quantum entanglement guided migratory paths. Even DNA fidelity, how mutation happens through proton tunneling, it also is a quantum process. So as doctor, as a surgeon, I've seen diseases, and we all know that cancer doesn't happen in one day. It happens over decades by staying in constant chronic sympathetic drive, gut dysbiosis, and mitochondrial inefficiencies. So I believe that these are the three root causes for all disease. And classical biology only explains the part. The quantum biology explains the magic in between. I say life is not random machinery, it's quantum poetry. Coherence turns probability into true biology. Quantum coherence, I say, is the nature's hidden operating system. Biophotons, subtle fields, synchronizing our cells and turning possibilities into biology. Quantum entanglement in life is everywhere. The heart-brain coherence, which we talk about, and the gut-brain connection, the microbiome mind link. Even remote resilience shows that our biology is not just isolated. Mirror states and empathy reveal that entangled field connecting cells, minds, and communities. Even there is quantum superimposition in life. Cells, neurons hold multiple potential, health or disease, creativity or stagnation before collapsing into one outcome, opening pathways for the biofield medicine, which is the future, mind-body healing, which many of you are already practicing, collective resilience, and personalized quantum health strategies. So you don't always need a device for it. It happens when you're more in the blue mind and you enter into coherence, and you target your more flow state. So consciousness, the human biofield, because we all know that we are ultimately energies. We emit powerful electromagnetic frequencies. Even our heart emits powerful electromagnetic fields, which is measurable these days. It goes beyond our bodies. And our human heart is more powerful than your brain. It sends more signals to your brain than the brain sends to your heart all your life. Heart, brain, cellular rhythms, and they resonate with the Earth's magnetic field, or the Schumann resonance, which I told, which we tap into it through tree heart meditation and connecting with nature, aligning your circadian rhythm, mood, and collective behavior. And heart rhythms can be synchronized, as I already mentioned, to the Schumann resonance, and through collective meditation, and the consciousness becomes not just isolated but field-based, interconnected, and responsive to the planetary rhythms. I think the new Earth is beginning, and with an integrative 360 blueprint which I gave you today, you can all heal. And then the future is, as a surgeon, we have been told, so many patients enter my clinic with the red mind, the cancer, piles, IBS. I may prescribe the right do the right surgery or prescribe the right molecules. But if I am not working on the mindset, if the person comes to me in the red mind and goes back in the red mind or the thinking brain, then the cancer will come back, the IBS or the inflammation will come back. We need to explain about the perspective shift and living in the more parasympathetic or the blue mind dominant state. We are not just matter, we are energy in coherence. That is what I always say. So one life, 5 bodies, 5 frequencies: earth, water, air, fire, and quantum. What do you think about this? So here is the 21 powerful biohacks, and this framework you can take home. I'm sure most of us, you are practicing up to 15 points or 10 points. Tell me today how many of you are practicing. If you need any help with this, because if you're suffering from disease, or if you're not, you are lagging in any of these 20 points, and the 21 is a bonus. I say that we unlock after we work, after you target your flow state, because even in quantum world, time is not linear, and that you understand with going through your flow state every single day of your life. So the 5 bodies blueprint from earth to quantum. The earth, the foundation of physical and health and belief. And that I gave you 5 points. What were those? Cellular hydration, gut health, VO₂ max, muscle strength and sleep. Then the water, the emotional flow, the balance between the blue mind, the mastering your HRV, your breath work, gratitude and nature. Air, or the mental body, because mental focus, neuroplasticity, and breath is as a bridge. NSTR, neuroplasticity, breathing, books, CO2 tolerance. That one is a hidden one. Take it back from home today and practice that. And the digital reset. And then the last one was fire, or the spiritual body, your purpose, your fasting states, your sunlight rhythm, your circadian rhythm, heart brain coherence, whether you tap to the nature's frequency of Schumann. And the best time to do that is as soon as you get up from sleep and before sleeping, because that is where you naturally tap and enter your alpha state. That is why even Silva and even Vision from Mind Valley, they talk about the Silva method, or the alpha mind. Fire body is your purpose, coherence and inner ignition of energy. Healing is not just 4 fragments, I would say. It is 5 frequencies working in harmony. The quantum body, people believe, I believe it's an invisible thread. It connects earth, water, air, fire, and weaving coherence into life. So what does I have to say in the end? Being a surgeon, a bird watcher, and an advanced scuba diver has taught me that science and nature are not separate. They are deeply intertwined, and even spirituality is the same. Every scuba dive, I've had my octopus teacher moment when I was meditating underwater. The octopus literally came and sat on my hands. And octopuses are futuristic, yet the most old creatures. They are highly evolved. Each and every tentacle have nervous system cells. So every dive teaches me adaptability. Every birding session teaches me patience and observation. And every surgery teaches me precision and respect for life. Biohacking in the end, I would say, is not just a health hack. It's a perspective shift. Also, I would like to add here that biohacking, I really don't like the term biohacking. If it was up to me, because it's a trending term, I continue to use it because people seem to catch the word hacking early. I would rename it to biosyncing or bioharmonizing. So when you biohack or biosync, you stop surviving, you start thriving. You don't just live longer, you live higher, deeper, and fuller. Because true health span isn't hacked, it is harmonized. I always say that sync with your biology, flow with your breath, honor your gut, and respect your mitochondria. Because true longevity isn't about avoiding death, it's about living so deeply that even time flows around you and not against you. The secret isn't in more hours, it's in more flow. Let's together live where time literally expands inside the flow state. Thank you today. Optimize and flow and thrive. Here I would also say that I do personalized medicine 3.0 consultations beyond conventional healthcare. So I'm a doctor, I still prescribe antibiotics, but I have stepped into the next layer about the precision longevity. And medicine 1.0 was about when we were hunter-gatherers, we used to, the basic thing about. Then when antibiotics came, that was medicine 2.0 and surgery. Medicine 2.0 is great. Like there are so many brilliant examples about medicine 2.0, but it is still for diseases like chronic diseases like diabetes, hypertension, cancer. We are only treating mainly the symptoms. As a surgeon, I've been trained like tumors are physical growths. You just remove it and you treated it. But why does it happen in the first place? What was in the terrain that made the cancer develop in the first place? That is what you get in this medicine 3.0 consult. And it is obviously the future is about personalization by tracking all those HRV, VO₂ max and your resting heart rate and incorporating your blood biomarkers, your gut microbiome, your nutri-DNA, your genomic health insights, plus all the biohacking things which you can add to. You get a personalized platform, and we can work on through Medicine 3.0 on this prevention and performance up. So I would say that Medicine 3.0 is proactive health awareness, not just a preventive medicine, and it is integrative. And this framework needs to be added to all the diseases and even your health optimization journey. Even if you want to do peptides, you need to do these 20 things and then maybe add a peptide. And we work on 3 root causes. Number 1 is chronic sympathetic drive, the chronic red mind. Number 2 is your gut dysbiosis, leaky gut. And number 3 is mitochondrial inefficiency, where you can obviously add saunas and other things to detoxify you things and help your mitochondria optimize. And also in India, I'm hosting India's first longevity and biohacking event, the Longevity Summit. And India vows for longevity with this integrated blueprint approach. So be part of India's most exclusive longevity movement. 15th, 16th August, Fairmount, Mumbai. Let me know. Drop it in the comments. Please connect with me if you're interested in this. Thank you so much.